Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and you're listening to my podcast, Vox&Hops, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians and we talk about their lives, their music, and most importantly, craft beer. I have to tell you, out of all of the interviews that I had scheduled at the Heavy Montreal weekend, this was one of the top 2 or 3 that I was most concerned about how it was going to go. I had spent 2 weeks in South America alongside Watain a few years ago, and honestly, I did not really say that much to Erik. We didn't have many opportunities to have conversations, so I was concerned about how this interview was going to go down. But as soon as we sat down together and we looked at each other, I was like, this is going to be okay. I had a great chat. I really appreciate it. I'm stoked to share it all with you. Here it is, episode number 49 with Erik Danielsson from Watain.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm at Heavy Montreal with Erik Danielsson from Watain.
That's right.
So good to be back with you, brother.
Likewise.
We had such a crazy time in South America together.
That's right. That was a wild ride.
It was those fucking planes. I hate those tours. We just did it in Asia.
Yeah.
Where you don't sleep. It's hard on the.
Yeah,
how do you
man.
handle that as a vocalist?
You know, we actually had we had the longest tour we ever had during our 20 years as a band just a few months back.
That's true.
2 months in a row, starting in South America, going on to Australia, New Zealand, up to Asia for a while. It's 2 months in total. And I don't know, it becomes kind of we try to see it like as a kind of a military operation.
Absolutely,
you know?
yes.
Like we try to face it like we're at war. And I mean, of course you can drink, and of course you can party. I bet soldiers do that too, right? But you have to, no whining allowed, no bitching, no crying, just hit the lobby calls. Fucking don't fuck around.
You got to be a fucking pro at the end of the day. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun, but you got to be a pro.
Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy it actually. I enjoy seeing the other 4 pirates at 5 in the morning. Still completely messed up. Like where are we going next? Bolivia.
Okay.
4,000 meters above sea level.
Jesus.
Let's do it,
yeah.
You know, I enjoy it.
How do you keep your voice healthy?
The voice, not really a problem.
It just always works.
Yeah, it just always works. I quit smoking last year.
Awesome, congrats.
That helped, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can do. I don't know. It just works. It's a different voice, though, right?
That's right.
It's a different voice you use on stage. So I guess it has its little black cave in there somewhere, and it comes out.
It has to come out on stage, yeah. Vox&Hops is about craft beer and hanging out with my friends. Today I brought you La Mer IPA from Brasseur de Montreal.
This is great.
They graciously gave me some beers to share with my friends, so cheers.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Tell me about the craft beer scene from where you are. Do you like craft beer? Is that something you're into?
You know, whenever I'm offered one, I'll have it, absolutely. But I haven't gotten nerdy about it. I'm more of a. No, I'm not more of a wine guy either. I don't know. I enjoy every kind of good drink, but I haven't really got into the scene, so to speak. But it's huge. It's a huge thing in Sweden. Yeah.
I had a good time in Sweden.
Yeah.
I was there a few months ago, and there was some good craft beers that I drank there.
I bet.
Absolutely.
I bet. Yeah, there's a big scene, and even in the small town that we're from, Uppsala, which is where Watain was formed 20 years ago, there's one of the biggest independent craft beer companies called Temple, which is kind of metal focused as well. They do a lot of stuff with bands and so on.
I love that stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever thought of making a Watain beer collaboration?
We have, but we have. I mean, like everything we do with Watain, we wanted to kind of have a real sense of purpose in a way. You know, I don't think we would just go ahead and do a beer just for the sake of it. I think we would. In that case, I think I would really need to get into the whole concept of beer making a bit more. And I know people have been doing stuff with blood in it already and stuff like that. So
something that would be on brand for Watain.
Yeah, I suppose. But we'll see. I'm pretty open for the idea. It's just I think I would want to know a bit more about the process and what actually matters. And I think we could do something pretty interesting with it. I don't know if we would do a beer or wine or
I think a wine might be actually better for
maybe,
Watain.
or some heavy liquor. We actually had this one idea that we were gonna do, because in Sweden you cannot buy booze in stores, right?
It has to be like in a liquor store.
Yeah, it has to be in a very specific liquor store that is government owned.
Got it. Yeah.
So we wanted to make a Watain liquor that would be like the cheapest one in the stores. So all the kids and all the alcoholics would buy it and like ruin their lives. So that it would be awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, but I don't know if where we are with those plans. Actually, we gave over the plans to management, and I don't know where they.
Do you remember your first beer?
No. I don't. I remember my first, the first time I had like really strong liquor, but I started with liquor. It was mostly like.
It's easier to share a bottle of liquor.
Yeah,
it's cold in Sweden. It's cold as here, I imagine.
Yeah.
Not today, obviously.
Yeah, and I like this kind of fiery. Liquor to me is very diabolical somehow. You know, it has a very fiery aspect to it, and I think. By the time we started drinking, we were already into metal, right? So it just made sense somehow. Yeah, it had this like really strong fucking, half disgusting, but also very rewarding.
It's rewarding, but then there's that slippery little extra drink, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Which works with metal too, and the evilness of it.
Definitely.
I personally just did an Asian tour. We played in Singapore. Rachel Chan tried to ban our show.
Oh, I did.
Just like
exactly.
Your show happened.
Yeah.
Do you care to talk about that?
Sure. That was on the 2-month tour that we did.
Exactly, yeah.
And we were fucking haggard from being out for a long time on the road. And
of course.
We were at there was actually the second last show of the whole tour.
Really? Okay.
The day after we had Thailand. But Singapore has always been like a kind of important country for us. We always had a lot of contacts there, underground labels that put out our stuff on cassettes and since way back, you know. So we really look forward to go there. During the day, we found out that the gig was simply not going to happen.
So you arrived in Singapore and then the day of. They let you into the country, though.
Exactly. We entered the country. This was actually the day before the show.
Unbelievable.
We started to hear about this petition being raised, and like we were keeping updated. But on the day of the show, we were actually setting up in the venue, rigging the stage. Yeah, and they came in and like, sorry, it's not going to happen.
Unbelievable.
The promoter was actually in tears. You know, this huge guy, gym guy, you know,
yes.
like tan, huge guy in tears.
Dude. Unbelievable, yeah.
But we had a meet and greet with everyone that had tickets outside.
The fans were still there.
Yeah, they were there. So we were all hanging out with them and like had a huge party in the parking lot.
Fucking right. That's
it was great. But how
do you feel about like governments
honestly,
trying to censor?
It's a double-edged sword. I think metal should always be kept dangerous. You know, I love these PMRC kind of people.
Yeah.
Because they keep this. They maintain a kind of friction. You know that's healthy. I think there should always be this healthy friction between normal society and heavy metal. I really believe that. I don't think it should go hand in hand. I think there always should.
You should always be the outcasts.
I think
it should be dangerous.
I think it's important to let those energies always remain, because otherwise the shit gets kind of lukewarm and blunt somehow. But so what happened in Singapore, I think, in a way, makes perfect sense. What they said was that they were afraid that we were a satanic band that would come to corrupt their youth,
of course,
present them to, you know, diabolical, sinister ideas, have them, you know, wind it up with songs about Satan, about perversion, about devil worship. All of that is true. What can I say? I mean,
it's exactly the point of Watain.
It's exactly what we were gonna come to do.
Yes.
So I have. What can I say? If I would have been them, I would have done exactly the same thing.
If you were a Christian extremist.
Yeah. But however, what it resulted in was that on Spotify, on our merch store, I mean, Singapore was the top country for the 5 months afterwards.
Fucking awesome.
Still like up until recently.
So thank you, Rachel Chan.
We were on national TV for fucking several times. It was, you know, it just went through the roof. So at the end of a tour, I mean, management were like applauding. They were super. No, but so there's always two sides of the coin, right? It was shit not to be able to do the show. I'm sure we'll do it.
You'll make it happen,
point,
and then there'll be even more people there.
Yeah, but stuff like that needs to happen every once in a while. And with a band like us, you know, we're kind of asking for it. So I'm not one to like whine and complain about it. That's
I love your stage show.
What's that?
Your stage show. I love it.
Sure.
Yeah, I've seen you do some crazy things.
Sure.
What would be the craziest thing that you've done, and then in retrospect you said, oh, that was a bit too much?
I'm not really too much kind of guy. My limits are pretty much non-existing when it comes to artistic expression in a black metal context. I think you should go all the way and more, you know. But we've been very close to burning down venues. We've been very close to having more than 50% of the audience vomiting simultaneously from one
the smell or the blood or
but you know that's
a part of the experience.
It's a part of the experience, and it's what we love to do. You know, we love to shake people out of their comfort zone in other ways than with just music.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I think that's what a lot of people that are not, you know, just ordinary black metal fans, I think that's why we have a lot of other people coming to the shows too, because everyone loves to be shaken to the core.
That's why they watch horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And here they come close to something that maybe in their regular lives they're not really faced with. How often do you stand before a huge fire and there's stuff burning everywhere, and there's loud music, and there's blood smell, and there's just everything is insane? How often does that happen? Not that often, you know. So I think it's important.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erik.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you have a lot of stuff to do today, so I'm going to let you go.
No worries.
Cheers. I really, really appreciate hanging out with you.
Likewise.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. Erik is such a cool dude, so intelligent, has such a clear vision of what black metal and what Watain represents. It's refreshing. I left that interview, as I mentioned, I was extremely nervous about it, and I left that interview just feeling blown away by just how cohesive his vision of what black metal is. I love it. I would have liked to have spoken to him for longer, but he's a busy dude. At these festivals, you're always super busy, so I didn't want to keep him. Thank you all so much for listening. That's the final of the 3 episodes that I dropped today. If in case you missed the other ones, there's Vega da Roca from Metalachi and also Adam D from Killswitch, which came out today. You should check them out. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate all the love and support that I'm getting. If you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas, things that you would like to see the podcast do that it's not doing, if you want to send me some beers to taste, shoot me an email at matt@voxandhops.com. That's matt@voxandhops.com. And I would be more than excited and interested in hearing and reading what you have to say. Once again, I just want to give a shout out to Marie-Mado Langlois for hooking me up with the beer that we had during this episode. I appreciated it. All my guests really liked it. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great week. And most importantly, I hope you remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.